want.
Have you seen like people getting mad because like they're getting kind of confirmed that you're missing out?
Thank the manager.
Yeah. Because I've had a day.
Early, so it would have been Annie.
This way. Hotel. 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 。
Just look at someone taking.
Hello, hello.
Poppies are like that, but my poppy was like that. It's called poppy bread. My
Well, it's falling as well, but I'm going to cook the marble crumble.
telescope up that you got given, you know, and have it looking out the window. But, he's got a picture rail, so he can put things up around the picture rail.
Yeah.
Oh, enjoy your tuna sandwiches.
Basically, here's the vision, yeah? Here's the vision. So, imagine, man sitting, there's a curb, there's bare man walking past. You got the phone, you man talking.
But that's really funny because I think Craig and Laurel went to Knockback on Friday.
I can't find me. Mummy again.
No, this way. No, this way. No, you get in.
So I'd rather focus now and get performance. I want to go to a town and you get some like a something. I need like a drink or something I can hold, didn't it?
Now walk that way. Now walk that way. Walk that way. Now walk that way.
Downsizing, yeah. And the idea of
spoken to anyone? And she was like, yeah, no.
I look mine.
giving it all back. This is fun.
I thought you would have everything. They're not all friends. Everyone.
It's a bit of a yeah.
Pasta quite often, but I put a lot of And then she spoke to the counsellor like a day later because the doctors had rang up and said, oh no, stop the antibiotics. So she spoke to the counsellor.
I was doing the uniform part and it was so boring. Just
You know that you can go through the worst. Yeah.
It's just.
Anyone can play netball.
Yeah, I know.
I've been my place 6.5 years. I've never my own place.
Yeah, I was literally, I thought if I shut that door.
It is.
Look close, mate.
I think
I am, but I try to limit.
Dad doesn't want to go.
Yeah, I think so.
It was good.
Can't believe you recognise her.
I've never checked.
Next door.
No, you get some like that. It's easy to spread out like on top.
Uma coxinha.
Last night, me and Jake.
The way you just by pulling the road through a screw.
Good morning.
Hello.
That's fine, guys.
That's right.
Shake on fast.
Okay, so you have to put it
We have to.
Don't forget anything.
I'll let them go there next time.
they've already taken all the flags down. The last one.
That's why I was hoping you're upstairs.
What's it look so dark?